Hey everyone, Richard Robbins here. Well, the numbers are in for the Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take you through January, February, March, and then I'm going to total up the quarter, and I'm going to compare this quarter to the first quarter of the last 5 years. Give you a good idea what's really going on in your marketplace. And then what I'm going to do is talk about the average sale price over the last 5 years in all the different property types. That's how we'll finish it off. So let's start with January, February, March. You can see the number of sales that took place here, 1,100 in January, up by 34% in February, and up by another 16% in March, which is normal, right? January is usually, the lowest month of the year, and then they continue to go up as we move into the spring. But again, let's look at active listings. What's happening with active listings? Now we've got almost 11,000, which gave us 9.8 months of inventory. Remember, you take the sales, divide it into the active listings, 9.8. Strong buyer's market right here. 4 to 6 balanced, right? If you look at this, went to 7.8. Listings did go up, but percentage-wise, they only went up by 7%, but your sales went up by 34%, so that drops your months of inventory. And then when we get here, you can see the same thing happened. It dropped again because, see, our sales were up by 16%, and your inventory is up by 10%, which means your months of inventory went down. What happened to average sale price? You can see $1 million, $1 million, and $1 million. So really, your price has hardly moved at all that's taken place. So here's what I want to do. I want to show you right across Canada, months of inventory. Toronto, 2.2. Toronto and Ottawa would be the two strongest markets right now in Canada. And then the second market would be Calgary at 5.0. Then we move Montreal about 5.1. This was February because March's numbers weren't available. And then, of course, Edmonton 6.9. Vancouver 7.4, so you're pretty close. What's going on in Edmonton? And then we can go to the East Coast at 8.8. So you can see the far east of Canada, the far west of Canada have probably the two weakest markets right now. Now here's your comparison for the first quarter. 2015, you did 9,000 sales for the first quarter, first 3 months. 2016, we're up by 31% to almost 12,000. 2017, we were down by 36%. Okay, and then what happened? 2018, we're down by another 13, and of course 2019, we're down by 34%. So I'd like to take this year out because that year there was an anomaly, right? It was crazy. But if we compare it to, say, 2015 or even 2017, you can see our sales are off substantially. We compare it to this, we're obviously off by about 3,000 sales or 1,000 a month because this calculates 3 months. So here's the deal. Your months of inventory is starting to come down. I suspect that April, May, June, you're going to continue to see that. I think your sales are going to start to increase a little bit, and I think your market will continually get a little bit stronger. However, no matter how we try to spin this, if we look at it, we can see, even if we compare it to 17, we're off by 3,000 sales. That means there's 3,000 less sales available for you as a salesperson to try to take advantage of, which means you got to get really good at what it is you do because your pie has shrunk. So in other words, what you need to do is take a bigger piece of a smaller pie. Now let's have a look at this. So this is the breakdown for each quarter, the number of sales that took place in each quarter. So if you look here, 26% of the year's sales, okay, each quarter is 25% obviously, took place in the first quarter. Second quarter, and this was 18, 32%, 23%, 19%. Now here's the good news. The good news is you are standing right now in the busiest quarter of the year. So I think what you're going to see happen, and this might even be more than 32, because I think the first quarter was probably off more than it normally is, and it might just catch up into the second quarter. So I'll talk more about this in just a moment, but right now you have an opportunity, and I'll tell you about that when we get to the end. So you look at this, here's your prices. Your average price 2015, $661, 16, $815, 17, $919, okay, 8 went up to $1 million, almost $1.1 million, and then you can see we're down a little bit, okay, from where we were last year. Here is your breakdown of property types. Detached. Last year in March, okay, you were at 1.6, you're now at 1.4. That's off by 11%. So they've come down a lot. You look at your townhouses. Even your townhouses are down by 6%. Your apartments are down by 5%. So you can see the biggest drop in price is taking place right here in your detached, and then you can see what's going on. So right now, your detached average price is 1.4, 1.5. Townhouse 784, almost 800,000, and your condo apartments right now are sitting at 657,000. So, what is the underlying message? I think here's the way I'd position it. If you're a real estate professional right now in Vancouver, and remember, every market is different. You've got micro markets. I was just looking at West Van, some numbers that came out in West Van, and you might be at 7.4 months of inventory, but West Van is, I think it's around 18 months of inventory. So each market is going to be different. Fraser Valley, obviously going to be different from what you have in the Greater Vancouver Real Estate Board. So my message is this: you are presently in the busiest quarter that's going to take place this year. Now, we don't know what the numbers are going to be, but you're in the busiest quarter. So you need to make hay while the sun is shining. I would rocket this particular quarter and let go of what happened in the first quarter. I don't know how you did in the first quarter. Now, let's say you killed it. And I hope you did. But let's say you killed it. Don't get complacent. Keep it going, right? Because you want to get to maybe 60% of goal by the end of the first half of the year. That would be a really cool target to try to hit. If you didn't have a great first quarter, well, guess what? There's nothing you can do about that. The past is the past. Let it go. And focus in April, May, and June. Because the highest percentage of sales that are going to take place this year are going to take place in April, May, and June. So the secret is right now is you've got to get out there, you got to make it happen, wake up earlier, get to work earlier, work a little later, follow up on those leads. If you've got listings that are overpriced, get those prices down, get those buyers out, and work harder in this particular quarter. And why not do this just for fun? Why not decide to make the second quarter of 2019 the best quarter you've ever had? Not a bad idea, right? Remember, everybody, it's a beautiful life. Make it count.